Welcome to the Post-Compulsory Education and Training course from Birmingham City University, Mentor Briefing, for the 2022-23 academic year. Whether you're an experienced mentor or if this is your first time supporting a trainee teacher, this presentation offers details of the PCET course for both BCU and partner delivery teams across the region. The purpose of this briefing is to explain key documentation and practice within the PCET course with specific reference to the role and responsibilities of the mentor in placement. Pause or rewind at any point to ensure you have all the information you require. If there are any further questions, please contact the course team related to the delivery partner that your mentee is attending, either at BCU, Gloucestershire College, Southend City College, Birmingham, Joseph Chamberlain Sixth Form or Walsall College. The BCU PCET course, in collaboration with our partner colleges, have designed a structure and process through which we believe our trainees are best able to articulate and record their ongoing development towards the attainment of and progression against the Education and Training Foundation's professional standards. The revised standards encourage a personalised reflection on the priorities and issues that each teacher and trainer faces in their unique context. Our trainees are beginning this stage of their career as early career teachers, and therefore the guidance and support we offer relates directly to transitioning from early career to experienced. As such, we expect trainees to begin demonstrating qualities, practice and evidence that fit the measure of attainment attributed to each professional standard relative to their own subject specialism and context in which they teach during and ultimately by the end of their course. Early career teachers and trainers will be learning and developing the craft of teaching and learning driven by a desire to achieve competence in each of the standards, and so the focus is likely to be individual mastery. In support of this development, we've created a curriculum that is responsive to the needs of the further education and skills sector. There are 5 phases across the course. In this first phase, we focus on key elements of the FES sector that prepare a teacher to operate effectively within their role, concentrating on the scope and range of the sector, discussing roles, responsibilities, safeguarding, barriers to learning and introduction to teaching, learning and assessment approaches. In the second phase, course content will focus on adaptive and inclusive teaching approaches, discussing factors that impact an inclusive learning environment, SEND and EAL support, behaviour management and balancing curriculum requirements and student needs in different contexts. In the third phase, we focus on deepening critical analysis of professional practice and applying research and theory to practice through academic study and application to their practice. Course sessions will focus on how theory and research within their subject and the wider FES sector might be used to develop and challenge practice. In this fourth phase, we focus on developing teaching, learning and assessment skills and knowledge, applying ideas, skills, theories and practice to placement experience. Course sessions will revisit key aspects of the FES sector, developing their learning to date. In the final phase, teaching will focus on continuing professional development, setting out future actions and further developing key areas of the FES experience. To this end, we are meeting the 4 C's of Birmingham City University. Our aim is to develop highly skilled teachers who are committed, creative, confident and collaborative, who set out to create vibrant learning environments addressing the needs of their learners, who aim to develop inclusive learning practices and reflect on the impact of their practice, communicating effectively with all stakeholders and taking account for their own actions and decisions, and working effectively with expert colleagues, peers and other stakeholders in support of their learners. While the ETF standards underpin our course and the development of our trainees, we're focused on developing our trainees holistically, which means ensuring that they recognise the many roles and responsibilities they have for their students, colleagues, and their own professional development. The ETF do not provide formal categorisations of pass or fail. However, we have adapted the guidance from the ETF in line with the early career teacher framework and therefore the trainee's development. The above table indicates the progression of a trainee teacher moving through increasing stages of dependency and confidence. Further level descriptors are offered for each of the BCU's 4 sections. These formative descriptors are useful and designed as guidance to mentors and trainees working at the early career teacher stage. They're categorized into 4 sections and provide guidance and suggestions for each level of development. We've categorized these as emerging, which indicates that the trainee is working with clearly focused support, and we would expect this to be the case with most trainee teachers at the beginning of their placement experience, as they're not yet able to demonstrate independent confidence in their relative area. The next level of developing equates to the trainee working with greater confidence, whilst the third level of secure indicates that the trainee is able to demonstrate a growing independence and that they demonstrate an appropriate level of confidence in the relevant area. The formative descriptors are not exhaustive and might not represent every area of teaching or an individual's personal journey, so please discuss your trainee's development with their PDT if you're uncertain about how the different levels might apply. These formative descriptors are provided for the 4 sections: subject knowledge and pedagogical development, planning for learning and assessment, classroom and learner engagement, and professional development. In line with this, we've created a PDP or Professional Development Portfolio document as a guide and support, and also as a record for our trainees' ongoing progression throughout their PCET course. It's aligned to the needs of the further education and skills sector, supported by the phased content of our curriculum referencing the ETF standards. The PDP offers opportunity to develop and record a range of skills, knowledge and reflections, focusing on their personal and professional development through those key 4 areas. Relating to subject knowledge and pedagogical development, the focus of this section allows trainees to constantly update their subject or vocational knowledge and skills, which will include reading professional and academic literature around relevant theoretical and practical activity to apply these new approaches to their own practice. It will also include developing collaborative networks, sharing best practice across a range of stakeholders. Key areas for development in this section relate to their subject-specific knowledge and the way in which they teach and support students in these areas, and an awareness of the inclusive SEND approaches in their own practice. Within Classroom and Learner Engagement section, the focus allows trainees to demonstrate effective communication and encouragement of learners to gain an understanding of how diversity brings extensive added value to the teaching and learning process. This is articulated through the promotion of equality, diversity and inclusivity in their teaching, learning and assessment in order to create safe and positive inclusive learning environments. This will encompass their ability to promote and embed opportunities for numeracy, literacy, digital skills and education for sustainable development within their planning. The focus of Classroom and Learner Engagement section allows them to identify and use effective ways of helping all learners to appreciate and learn their subject area, developing their wider transferable skills through enthusiasm for their subject and learning in general. In doing so, our trainees will be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of individual learners, working to deepen the former while improving the latter. encouraging all learners to appreciate that learning is not a passive but rather an active process. This will include opportunities to develop learners' confidence and autonomy by offering advice and guidance, supporting positive learner behaviour, and ensuring a diverse and inclusive environment for learning to take place. The focus of our professional development section allows them to show their awareness of their role as a teacher in the wider professional context, encouraging them to develop a mutually supportive environment in which teamwork, respect and support is valued. In the process of creating a positive, proactive learning environment, they will identify how advice from experienced colleagues, continuing professional development, awareness of the requirements of their role and responsibilities, and working with colleagues and other stakeholders to improve and develop the quality of provision can impact their learners' experience. All of this is useful in relation to their placement. The expectations of their placement during their time, whether that be over a 1-year or 2-year course, is that they are allocated a mentor from their academic or vocational area. They also need to complete in excess of 100 hours of teaching. Teaching might include online or face-to-face sessions, large or small groups, one-to-one tutorials, workshops, exam revision, team teaching, or any other activity that might fit the remit of teaching within your organisation. Attending meetings and observing other teachers, while essential, do not count towards their teaching hours. Where possible, they should gain experience across a range of levels, courses, and by the end of placement, be able to evidence attainment or again at least working towards the ETF professional standards at the early career stage. As part of their induction, we would ask that all trainees, specifically if they are pre-service, are provided with an ID card, an email address and IT access. For all trainees, however, they should be attending school or college inductions, health and safety training and safeguarding sessions, ensuring that they have access to any relevant policies or information such as student disciplinary assessment, late or attendance documentation. So now on to the role of the mentor within the BCU PCET partnership. While the role of the mentor offers a great deal of support for their respective trainee, the expectations largely fit within the everyday role and practice of a teacher, and therefore shouldn't take up any significant additional time, and in many cases will allow for the mentor to reduce their planning and teaching role, allowing the trainee to take on greater responsibility. The role includes supporting your trainees' subject and pedagogical development, agreeing a timetable of shadowing, observing and teaching, ensuring access to relevant student information, completion of 3 formal observations of practice using the targets and feedback form, arranging weekly meetings with the trainee to discuss their performance and targets, discuss their trainees' development with the PDT or professional development tutor following each phase of the curriculum, to continue to review subject-specific targets with the trainee across their development, and finally, to sign their teaching hours log. If your trainee is on a full-time course, then the observation schedule here will apply to them. As you'll see, observations are split between professional development tutors, mentors and peers. If it's a part-time course, then the following schedule will apply. This will mean that 4 observations should be carried out in the first year and 4 in the second. When carrying out an observation, the same process applies, regardless of whether it's being carried out by a PDT, a mentor or a peer, and is as follows. Firstly, the trainees provide a lesson plan. This should be the formal lesson plan for an observed session, and further guidance is offered to all of our trainees in completing this. You'll note in section H there is an additional area which would not usually appear within a normal lesson plan, and this is focused upon the targets and key areas of development that our trainees might have. They submit the lesson plan to you in advance of the session. The observation then takes place for around about 60 minutes. Following that, brief feedback might be given, and also time for perhaps a longer or lengthier discussion to take place. The mentor then completes the targets and feedback form. This form is the only form or only written piece of work that is required to be completed by the mentor during the placement experience. Once you've completed this, the trainee will then complete their self-evaluation. This is found in the PDP folder of the trainee, and they will need to have your feedback in order for them to add this reflection into their work. The targets that you've given to the trainees are then added to their ongoing target tracker. These are checked on a regular basis by their professional development tutor and should be acted upon throughout the course. You'll then have discussion around planning, preparation, further observations and discussion around targets, and then move on to the next planned session to be observed. Key to this then is the observed session targets and feedback form. While section I completes the basic information on the actual session, we can focus on the observer feedback. You'll note in this that we have sectioned off the feedback into our 4 key areas: subject knowledge and pedagogical development, planning for learning and assessment, classroom and learner engagement, and professional development. We've added questions to each of the sections as prompts, and further questions and guidance is also offered within the formative descriptors, so using that document in conjunction with completing the feedback would be of great use to you. You may approach these particular sections simply by adding a few notes as the observation is taking place, and we wouldn't expect a lengthy essay being written in each section. What we would expect, however, is that key points in the session are noted and that targets are given to the trainee in order for them to develop further. In the last part of this particular document, there are 2 sections, or 2 parts of the same section. First, there is a summary of achievement against targets set from previous sessions, which allows you to report back on how effectively they have met the needs of particular targets that have been set over the course of the previous observations or sessions that you've seen. And the second part is to set new or to continue with targets for development. Again, these will be updated onto their tracker and will be monitored by yourself, their professional development tutor, and of course by the trainee. Further guidance is supported in how you might complete these, and we will also be offering further mentor training in how to set effective personalised and developmental targets for your trainees. So each trainee requires 8 formal observations to occur across their placement. Numbers 1, 4 and 8 are carried out by their professional development tutor. 2, 5 and 7 would be carried out by yourselves as the mentor. And 3 and 6 would be carried out by a peer. The first PDT observation also serves as a joint observation, offering opportunity for the PDT to discuss trainee progress and demonstrate how the observed session targets and feedback form is completed, and also to allow you to be part of the target setting process. This forms part of the ongoing training that BCU offers to our mentors, ensuring that you are supported and feel comfortable in completing future observations. At the end of each phase of the curriculum, the professional development tutors will contact you to discuss your trainees' progression to date, offering a chance to discuss any strengths and successes and areas for development and negotiated targets. It will also offer opportunity to discuss the trainees' subject knowledge development, which will further support through a range of subject-specific activities. This meeting can take place in person or online depending on your own schedule, and it reduces the amount of paperwork that you might be expected to complete, while still adding great value to your trainees' development. The information shared in this discussion will be used as part of each of the PDT review of targets meetings between the trainee and their PDT. As part of our curriculum, we also focus on a range of key priorities. These include developing our trainees' understanding of learner progress, value added, and notions of stretching and challenging, to develop their English and math skills in order that they might be able to develop their own students, to develop their understanding of personal development, behaviour, welfare and well-being issues, so they in turn again can develop their own learner skills, to develop trainees' skills in developing personal, social, employability and education for sustainable development activities to their learners, to develop trainee skills in teaching, learning and assessment via technology and digital literacies, to promote safeguarding, British values and the Prevent agenda so trainees can apply these principles to their own practice, to develop trainees' understanding of developments in the post-14 curricula such as 16 to 19 study programmes and T-level qualifications, and finally to develop trainees' expectations of the world and work and how that relates to professionalism and the professional standards for the sector. In support of your mentoring experience, we do hold a coaching and mentoring module that we offer free of charge. And as part of our commitment to the wider partnership of schools, academies and colleges that support our trainees across all of our provision, we offer this free, online and supported. If you are interested in carrying this out, please do get in touch with the partnership team and we will get that set up for you. We will also be offering a range of mentor training sessions, with further sessions provided across the year focusing on target setting and supporting subject knowledge development. These will use the ETF's mentoring framework as a guide to support your development. Additional drop-in sessions will also be hosted across the year in support of mentors, offering opportunity to ask any questions or discuss any issues or queries that might arise from your mentoring experience. Dates for the mentor training and drop-in sessions will be sent to you by the partnership team. If you require any further information or have questions relating to the mentoring process, please do not hesitate to contact a member of the partner delivery team. And finally, further recordings will be provided for you on our YouTube channel, including responses to frequently asked questions. You can also watch this presentation again and the range of training and support sessions on our PCET Mentor Support YouTube channel. Many thanks for listening, and we hope you have a great experience in mentoring one of our PCET trainees.